Well, I'm a little late today, but better late than never, right? I am on a mission to continue on with my lab education this week. So, big thing I want to drive home is absolutely make sure that we clearly understand that optimal is not normal. You don't want to be normal. Well, normal's okay, but you want your labs to be optimal. We want to make sure that we don't have any disease building or lurking. You don't want to be caught by surprise, which is what happens all the time because you go to your annual physical, you're fine, everything's great. A year later, they do your labs again, and guess what? You're diabetic or you're pre-diabetic, and you're thinking, well, God, how did this happen? No one told me this. Well, it was happening years before you got the diagnosis. So we need to make sure that you know what you're looking for, so you recognize years before it happens. My God, it's like having a crystal ball. It is literally like having a crystal ball. So no surprises with your health. You know exactly what's going on and you can control things. So here today, I'm talking about two of my favorite things, and there was some discussion about this. I don't remember how or where it was this week. I'm talking about vitamin D and magnesium. And I hope you all know by now that I am not one to take supplements. I mean, well, let me back up. Yes, I take supplements, but the way I take supplements, the way I teach to take supplements is with intent and purpose, right? Because supplements are useless if, one, your gut can't break them down and absorb them. And if you're supplementing just to supplement, that's just stupid. So you need to know what your numbers are. And again, supplement with intent and purpose, and put things in the rotation, so to speak, because you don't need to be taking them all of the time, consistently. So let's talk about, I'm going to myth bust a few things here. So most providers don't flag a low vitamin D unless, honestly, I have seen it not get replenished or not get supplemented when it's 20 or 30, which is criminal. And I hope most people have changed that now. But we want optimal levels of vitamin D above 60. They say between 60 and 80 because, again, you can have too much of a good thing, right? So we wanted that the sweet spot is 60 and 80, 60 and 90. I have rarely seen a toxic vitamin D level. And, there are some people, which this makes total sense. If we're getting vitamin D from the sunshine, it's not like someone who was outside, someone who works outside all the time and is exposed to constant sunshine and vitamin D. It's not like they're going to keel over and die because they've been in the sun too long. So there's some debate about whether, what that looks like. So here we go. At below 60, you're starting to notice seasonal depression, insulin resistance, autoimmune diseases, PMS, and cycle problems in women, poor recovery from illness. There are studies, lots of studies that show to this. Low normal vitamin D increase the risk of mortality. Mainstream medicine really waits until it's deficient. And deficient, I believe it's less than 20. It's kind of funny now. I've been doing this for so long that my what was ingrained in my brain as normal values is now replaced with optimal values. So that's a good thing. So if you're sick all the time, look at vitamin D. memory issues, huge issue with vitamin D. And I know a few years ago when I was still doing long-term care in nursing homes, it was a big thing. There were so many of my buildings who always supplemented with vitamin D in the dementia units. A little too late for that. So that's how important it is. So keep that in mind. And there was a debate going on whether vitamin D and magnesium should be tested. And again, the science is there. Y'all know that I love my research papers. I am very methodical when I bring anything in and I start testing for it and do all of the things. I look at the studies. There are a lot of BS studies out there. So I like to make sure that they're valid. We throw out the outliers and, because the truth is always somewhere in the middle. That's always the common sense approach, right? So vitamin D, seasonal depression, insulin resistance, autoimmunity, PMS, cycle problems, poor illness, it downgrades your immunity and it zaps your cognition. So memory issues, brain fog. Honestly, the list for vitamin D deficiency symptoms could go on. We want it at least 60. If it's less than 60, definitely be supplementing. My recommendation was always 5,000 units in the winter, 2,000 units in the summer if you're outside. And sometimes that's not even enough. But test, don't guess. Now, magnesium. Y'all know it is my favorite supplement for so many reasons, so many reasons. Magnesium is one of those essential elements that if your cells aren't making it properly, they literally can't make energy. So think muscle cramps, nervous system, short circuiting, okay, for lack of a better word. And here's the thing, the normal window of magnesium is tiny. It is less than 1 point in the traditional world. It's less than 1 point. It's rarely tested because it has to be ordered separately. And it is so vitally important for your heart, for your cardiovascular, for every smooth muscle in your body. It is vital. So standard magnesium can be deficient and you don't even know it because in your blood test, because the window is so small, your cells will take it from other places. So you have enough circulating volume. Hey, Kim. So as long as you have enough circulating volume, it's not going to be deficient in your blood work, which is why you often ideally you want to get a different kind of magnesium level. But point is it's so important. Once it's deficient in blood work, you're really deficient. So you've got some serious issues if it's showing up. Hey, Kelly, if it's showing up in your blood work deficient. Again, your cells are not making energy. Your nervous system is not working the way it should be. And going back, kind of like, if any of you moms out there remember when you were pregnant, you're the one who's going to suffer. The baby's going to take everything it needs out of your body. And that's how important magnesium is. Your cells, as they go around your body, their job is to deliver the essential nutrients to where they belong, where they need to go. And it will pull the cells in your blood will pull it from bone, from muscle, from wherever you have it to deliver it to keep things running smoothly. Remember, your body will do what it needs to do to stay in balance. And that's how things get out of balance because it's like a hierarchy. It's most important and it delivers the essential things at the expense sometimes of less essential things. Low magnesium, constipation, anxiety, sleep issues, palpitations, cravings. And this is when you even have a normal magnesium level. So one of the first things I do with my one-on-one patients is start them on magnesium, because again, magnesium will calm the muscle, calm the nervous system. It helps you sleep better at night because of this. It helps the electrical response of your heart, and the gut benefits of it, keeping in mind magnesium citrate. Now, there are lots of different kinds of magnesium. I have a document that I wrote about it. If anybody is interested, send me a DM. I'll send it to you. But magnesium citrate at 1200 milligrams is milk of magnesia, your laxative. Magnesium glycinate is my favorite for muscle relaxation and nervous system calm. So if you have cortisol issues, a magnesium glycinate is a good place to start. You would take that in the evening. It honestly helps you fall asleep because it relaxes your parasympathetic nervous system and it relaxes all of your smooth muscle. So it's fantastic. So those are my two favorite supplements. I always have them in rotation. They're so important. They're the two supplements that you can get 80% of your symptom resolution if these are at optimal levels, in my opinion. So important. Testing for these levels, super important, and supplementing, absolutely important for these two. So think about it like this, little mind shift change. Symptoms are whispers, right? Labs are a data point. So pay attention to those whispers. I've said this before. Those symptoms that you have nagging at you, right, are kind of like the 3-year-old who's tugging at your leg saying, Mom, 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 Mom. And then you don't pay attention. Guess what? That little voice gets a little louder and starts screaming, hey, Mom, hey, Mom. So listen to the whisper. And that whisper is your gut saying, something's just not right here. And lab tests are the first indicator, looking at those optimal levels and knowing what those optimal levels are, give you an absolute blueprint to turn those whispers, to shut them down and to start feeling like yourself again. Vitamin D, we want it at least 60. Magnesium, depending on the kind of magnesium you have done, again, we're looking right around 1.5 to 2 is optimal. And deficiencies, immunity, metabolic, hormone, insulin resistance, inflammation, depression, constipation, migraine, sleep disorders. Again, the list goes on. So if your labs are normal and you're feeling tired, anxious, inflamed, bloated, all of that stuff, it is not in your head. Listen to that little whisper. Hi, Bree. All right, everybody. I will see you Friday morning, and I'll be cooking up something or, trying to improve a recipe. Have a good one.